All right, want to take a quick moment and explain our water heat situation because Mark's gotten some questions and some feedback about different options and questions about liquid propane versus electric and why we're doing this and how we might change things in the future. So I thought it'd be useful for Mark to kind of explain how we got to where we are and what we're using. All right, so what's the history of Box House and these freaking water heaters?
So when we first started setting up here, we'd talked about putting gas in, and I was a real fan of going with electric. I know we tested out a little bit of electric, small tanks, and we were kind of told by someone that, that probably wouldn't work, but I really looked into it and wanted to do something like that. I thought it was better than putting all the money into the infrastructure for gas. When that didn't work, we looked at the infrastructure for gas and setting up large tanks, running underground, putting regulators at every house, and the cost of that got pretty high and was going to be very labor intensive for our crew to do. Now, if this was done in another situation where we're putting all the utilities in the ground, that might go down and might be a viable option. But for a pre-existing RV park setup like we've done here and what we're going to move to, we needed something different.
Now, what can I ask? Why you said you looked at electric initially? What kept you from going that direction?
It was the drawbacks from what a small tank could do and where we could put it. And when we came to these tankless, and I don't even know who specifically found them, I became a fan real quick.
So tank means that it has to have a place to store water.
Yeah, it's holding water in it. Whether a normal one in a house, it's holding 40 gallons, 50 gallons. 3 people can take a shower. You can do your dishes, whatever. It's no problem. Mm-hmm. But in a tiny house, where are we even going to put a small one? And I've not found a tanked water heater that can be put outside. Well, then
you have to put the heater itself inside too.
Heater itself's got to be inside.
Okay, sorry I interrupted you. So back to.
So on the outside, when we got these, I became a fan really quick. We looked at some options because of the fact that the last house I lived in Idaho, we didn't have any natural gas there. It was on 7 acres, but we had a really fancy like commercial range. And so what the previous owners to us had done is just put in a tank. Let's go over here, like this, 100-pound tank, and we would run our range for 6 months on that tank. So it was quite a bit, what I thought. So when we got these, we did some calculations on how much gas we were going to use, and thought, man, this is a real viable option, especially when the tank's about $150. The connection, which is regulator and hose right up to this, is maybe $100. So
and super simple and easy.
And simple. The simple thing is we can set this and hook it up. Any person can in 10 to 15 minutes.
Doesn't require digging. Doesn't require anything else.
It's just there, ready to go.
Yep.
If we go a tank any bigger than this, it has to be moved a certain distance away from the house. So that can, cause you some problems if we have closer houses. And then you can't have a hose any longer than this. If it's flexible, you got to do direct connect. All of a sudden, your labor and cost of parts is going up. So this takes all of 5 minutes to mount. Screw in, hang it, 3 more screws on to hold it, 15 minutes to set this, hook up the connection, and we're good to go when we're rolling.
An instant heat.
It
takes just a few seconds for it to come through, and unlimited based on how much gas you got.
Yeah, as long as you got gas. So, we kind of figured, one person living in these houses, that would go, a couple of months. Well, now with time, we found out they got 3 people living in one of these houses, 3 guys working the oil field. That's 3 showers a day instead of 1 shower a day. And maybe they're using it as their hot tub and relaxing and having that shower beat on them for 10 or 15, 20 minutes. And where we're at now is we're refilling the tanks just once a month instead of once every 2 months.
Yeah.
But still a viable option if you've got a company that will come and fill the tanks in place, which that's what we have.
Yep.
So I think it's a great option. For
But
what we're
and
doing.
also on that point, there's a lot. They're using a lot of water. Like they're using a lot of hot. The tenants here are using hot water is something that they value.
Yes.
For showers and for dishes and things like that, because we're having to refill once a month.
Yes.
So it's like you have to have some kind of an option that's providing
That
significant
much hot water.
that much hot water.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if you had a 10-gallon tanked hot water heater, somebody wouldn't be getting a shower in the morning or at night. They'd have to wait for an hour for that to recycle and fill up, and then their shower's limited.
Yep.
Like they might get 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. All right. So coming into the house, just discussing the potential or the possibility of a tanked electric water heater, right?
Yeah. So again, a tanked water heater, we could probably, a 10-gallon, maybe a 15-gallon if there was a space for it. But where are we going to put that? We've got a washer dryer here. There's no space in there that we could put it. The size of our, sink vanity, it's full. You could probably store 2 rolls of toilet paper in there. Then when we come to our kitchen, we've minimized this a little bit, but still left it very usable. And when you look at it, we've got a stack of drawers and one other drawer. You've got under the sink, there's not room in there for it. And we have one cabinet, and it's set to go back in here, so you can actually have a place to store some bigger items. Where could we put a tanked water heater?
And
Even a small one.
What is a small one? How many gallons?
10.
Okay.
10's a small one. I mean, RVs have 6s.
Okay.
That we might be able to tuck a 6 in there, but you got to have room for your lines and
The heater itself, right?
yeah, the heater itself. And on a 10-gallon one, it's probably going to be, my guess it's 2 feet tall and probably 16 inches in diameter. So I mean, it's a decent sized little thing that if you had a big open counter, under counter, yeah, you could put it in there. But we don't have that. We're every bit of space just to have a nice small kitchen.
Yep. And then back to the utilization piece too, right? So if our tenants, on average, most Americans are going to use about 15, 20 gallons of hot water a day. You're talking about a 10-gallon thing that we're having a hard time finding a spot for. And then is that going to serve 2 people, 3 people in a house?
Not on a one after the other basis. If somebody uses it at 7 and then somebody uses it at 8 and somebody uses it at 9, depending on the recovery rate, which some of those can be fairly fast, especially if they're gas. But then again, we're running more gas lines to try to feed this water heater inside somewhere. And if we go to electric, which would be better, those recovery times aren't as good. Or you can go clear to the maximum where if we equal with electric what our gas one that we have right now does, so on demand and the same gallons per minute.
I was going to ask, is there such a thing?
150 amps. Our houses right now run on between 30 and 50 amps for the whole house. So we'd have to triple that just for the water heater if it's electric tankless.
So to get something equivalent to what we're using right now, but it was
would be
electric.
3 times the amount of electricity to the house plus the rest of what the house uses. Yeah.
Cool.
Almost just a non-option.
Awesome. Anything else?
That's it.
That was good.